Learning how to make a game is very well documented and the information is there for anyone that looks. However, even with all that information, you'll still sometimes feel like there's so much stuff you're missing because the truth is, game development is a multidisciplinary skill. It's not just coding or arts or music, it's millions of things packaged into one. As you get deeper into these fields, you'll eventually get really good at one or two things. But unfortunately, your free time to learn new things starts to decrease as you start taking on bigger and bigger projects. This makes it important that you learn as many things as possible while you're still learning game development early on. But there is one thing I really wish I spent more time on in the early days of learning game development. I really wish I spent more focus on game design. When you first start game development, you'll probably just pick an engine, some courses, and some tutorials and start grinding away. It's a pretty decent idea and it's how most people start. But here's the pitfall I fell into. Because I was mostly doing tutorials and mini projects, I got really good at making games inside of the engine. But I wasn't very good at designing those systems that I would put in the engine. Tutorials are really good at teaching you how to make a game because the lessons are tangible and concrete. A system either works or it doesn't. But when a design breaks, it's usually not that obvious. Because when there's something wrong with a design, it often presents itself as a feeling. I feel like the game is hard. I feel like the game isn't fun. So studying and understanding game design early on is a crucial part of being a developer. But how do you actually go about improving your own skills? Well, what I've learned works best for me is actually not a course, but just learning as you go. Let me explain. With every project you create, take the time to create the design for your game. Write down the core mechanics, the enemies, the players, the game loop, everything. Think of every way the players can interact with the mechanics and think of every pitfall the design will fall into. Also think about what makes this game fun. Really meditate on this and think about your design, and once you have something, don't go into an engine and start writing code. Instead, with these questions in mind, try to find 2 to 3 games that are similar to the design that you created and really play them with a critical eye. Pay attention to every detail, every design choice, every mechanic, and most importantly, try to write down how these design choices made you feel. And if possible, write down why they made you feel that way. Over time, you'll develop your analytical skills, which will be indispensable experience once you hit those design roadblocks. Now you can take the lessons you learned from studying other games and improve your own design. It was through this process that I was able to improve my own design skills. Some may remember, but a few months ago, Project Bloom was supposed to be this mix between action and turn-based elements. I went numerous months crafting this idea because there weren't many games out there that had a similar style. The only game that was similar and that I could truly reference was a cancelled mobile game called Revived Witch. In fact, it was the original inspiration for the game. I took the fast-paced elements of that game and tried to cram in a lot of turn-based mechanics. Long story short, the idea fell on its face. I cover in detail in a previous video why all this fell apart, but long story short, it really comes to I had a misunderstanding of what made an action game fun and a misunderstanding of what made turn-based games fun. It was through studying a number of other games that mixed action and tactical elements that I started to recognize my own flaws. It allowed me to make an informed decision to move the project forward and make note of how I could potentially make another game with that system in the future. Spoiler, I think it was just missing movement, but that's a topic for another day. So overall, game design is something I wish I would have studied more when I was learning development. There's a lot of resources available for making the game because that's a very concrete topic. But try searching how to design items for a roguelike and you might get a Reddit post or two, but that's about it. Because game design by nature is a lot of concepts. I think your best, most practical hands-on approach for learning game design is to study the games that are relevant to your current project. I'm still not the greatest at design or anything, but I am a lot better than I was when I started, and I'm much better at understanding my own game as well. I often do deep dives into game design topics and philosophies because it's something that I'm actually really interested in and try to constantly improve. If you want to hear my hot take as to why I think the ATB battle system from Final Fantasy would never return, you could check out the video here. Or if you want to know why I think RPGs are the hardest genre to make, you can check out the video here. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, it's really appreciated. Additionally, you can wishlist Project Bloom on Steam. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.